Hiya, welcome back to Beans, episode 2 on how not to build a time attack car. Today we'll be making sure the engine actually fits in the car, which I think we've done by the end of this video, and I'll be tackling that wiring harness. I'm just filming this from the other workshop. You might see more of this later, but I doubt it. So, after weighing up many options, this is going back in here. I have been trying to do some editing to get out the first introductory video, which originally was meant to be 2, but I've realised I've got like 2 hours of footage, so I might as well turn it into 2 videos. This will go in here, talk to the restoration guys down there, won't cost an awful lot. If I cut out that panel, weld up a new one, this can go back in here. Yes, it's going to be highly strung, might not be terribly reliable, but it should work. And I'm used to them, and I've made a bunch of them for tracks before. It's going up against different animals with better reputations and better support. So I will most likely be fighting a slightly losing battle. However, race car. And we don't do this because it was easy, we do it because we thought it was easy. Pretty much objective that I have set myself out this evening is to get the last of the wiring harness out. I can't remember if I've shown people what it looks like in here. Let's grab a torch, because heaven forbid it's my camera battery. Oh yeah. You can have a look. Yes, that's what I was dealing with. Most of this is detached, and on the floor there's a few more clamps here, and I've got to remove the seat again on that side and crawl under the dash, and continue doing a few more on that side. So yeah. I mean, I would try and time-lapse it, but all you're going to see is my fat ass under there, trying to wiggle things in and out. And, yeah, not sure YouTube wants that. So, lots of effort later. Operation wiring is almost a success. Just got to root the last bit out of here. I'm sitting on the FD. Yes. This is my setup. It's called a yoga mat, and me being under there. Disconnected everything in here. The only things which are still technically attached to all the gauge pods and their associated little harnesses, which, I mean, I will kind of get a concentric twist around those and loop them into the loom and all the associated baloney. But because these guys are kind of hardwired in, unless I take the gauges out as well, which to be fair, I'm probably going to do in a minute anyway. So, update on the wiring. Doesn't look like I've done an awful lot. But this was all that was cable tied up under the car, doing nothing other than adding weight. Split the harnesses in 2. This is the only part we need, thanks to my mum. And we've helped split the harnesses. It was all cable tied together, it was all a crisscross mess. But it's all separated now, and look how little there is. That's all for the lights, fuel pump, accessories. And now all I need to do to finish off the wiring is do the engine loom and hook it up to the dashboard. And then we should be golden. So, the one strand of spaghetti we kind of needed out of the big spaghetti over there. I think we have everything we need. The only bit I know we might want, possibly, not 100%, I believe, well, this stuff all goes to the clock, so I will be stealing this when I try and get my MX-5 ECU to talk to the rx7 clocks. What we also might want is this guy here, which is our ignition live, the thing that goes into the key barrel. So that turns cars on, does starters and all the other stupid stuff. I need to figure out how to get that off and get that off. The likelihood is I'll chop it off. Sounds bad. I'll chop it off and then I'll splice it into the new harness. Is what I'm thinking. Not sure if it's the best sort in the world, but hey ho. So, while just shimming the engine around, trying to figure out where it fits best, car locked itself. Yep, this door was okay. It was the driver's side that was having all the issues, but now that the driver's side is open, this one is, you know, not okay. Yeah, I can't cave dive through the roll cage in the back. I'm not the skinniest person in the world. Yeah, not quite getting through there, am I? So, gotta figure out how to open this now. Engine is nearly in. Issues of power steering rack again, but you can see it's almost over that edge. Literally, it's just barely on it. So once I've done one more notch in the subframe, this side is okay, it wiggled up and down. The other side is where we're having issues. If you take the power steering rack out, the engine does go in quite nicely. But I don't want to have to remove a power steering rack every single time I need to do something on the car that requires the engine to come out. I know some cars, mentioning no brands in particular, and no models in particular, seem to think that engine removal and power steering rack removal and take the whole front end of the car off removal is a regular bit of maintenance. However, as much as I love RS6s, I don't like maintaining them. That I don't mind. Yeah. And also the reason why I took all of this out is because, well, I had to chop in here and I don't want to cut through this harness. Which is why instead of trying to split it in the car, we split it out the car. So, this is nearly in. Door is now open again. Had to grab the needle nose pliers, arm through the door, turn the ignition off, and then pull the keys out. But the good news is, this is now practically in the middle. It's lining up where it should be, which is, to be fair, a bit of a surprise. I do need to raise that tail end up. And, well, I need to... Well, we've got an issue mainly of I want to keep whatever I did below this lip. I might have to slightly bend and hammer this lip up a bit and recreate it. But thankfully, in this current scenario, the bonnet closes, exhaust manifold doesn't try to kill me. One thing I am conscious about is how, well, I don't have a lever bar on me at the moment, but these do like to flex a bit, so as I expected, I would need to make the cross brace, which I've got a spare S2000, one of these, which lines up between there, and I'll modify it a bit and get it nice and bang on straight. So yeah, I'm quite surprised that it's actually fitting-ish. The pulley at the front is another potential issue, but we'll figure that out when we come to it. I just got to remove this engine another time. Bit more persuasion over here. I mean, to be fair, the only reason I've kept this manifold on, it is interfering with the slave, but I've got a Skunk 2 manifold that I'll be putting on this in a bit, which will sit a lot lower and shouldn't interfere with that slave cylinder. If it does, then I've got more issues. But hopefully that bit needs to be sorted out. This just a tiny bit further back and make sure it's actually lined up in the middle. Then that should clear just about. And life should be all dandy. Oh, many headaches. I'll keep you posted if this actually goes in properly. Mute. So, bonnet's back on it. But there's also no engine here. So where's the engine? You might wonder. It's very good that you wonder this. Well, if you look under here, it's here. It's in. It works. Well, not works, it fits. Oh. Ta-da. Bosh. I need to get the right engine mounts just to raise it up a tiny bit, because the standard ones have all the wrong angles. It is as far back as it needs to be, right in the middle here. So, bigger is better, and it's also a slightly nicer profile. This is the Skunk 2 manifold. According to the Car Fashion channel, it is the best of the best. There are some other companies that make similar manifolds. I think CNC Fabrications make a Mazda MX-5 manifold for the 1.6s and the 1.8s. But I haven't. They're also ferociously expensive. Can't really find them in the UK. This marketplace, $200 in the UK, with the throttle body and sensors and stuff. Which, to be fair, for what it's worth, considering marketplace, everyone seems to be selling them for £700. This was a good deal. Just had to drive halfway across the country to get it. This will need some changing. I'll take that, which is normally for the brake booster. I'll plonk it in this port here, swap that round. And, well, I need to mount it as well. Obviously, we'll run a map line to the ECU. Well, I need to wire everything up which means I do need to buy the plug, unfortunately. But yeah. It also looks like this doesn't have an idle air control valve, which is a bit odd. But I believe, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, this one should fit. So I can retrofit an idle air control valve onto it if it's needed. Don't know if it is needed, we'll find out. If I can just adjust that screw so it idles nicely, then that will be good. But yeah, you might as well have it and make life just that tiny bit easier. So good news, everyone. Yeah, it's sitting low, sitting nice. There is no more interference issues with the new manifold. This clears. I mean, we don't have an awful lot of clearance. If I need to take that pulley off for whatever reason, I will have to take the engine mounts off, jack the car up, drop the PPF and tilt it like that. However, that's not a biggest issue in the world. I'm quite happy with it. It's sitting low and it's sitting how I want it to sit. Obviously, I will have to get the plates made up for the angles, or the when the destroyer dicings come in, I will see how low these sit, and the cups and how well everything happens. Turns out it's the perfect height for the gearbox. I will have to get that shortened sump, because that sump does sit slightly lower, but it's fine. What they do is they chop the bottom of it down there, and they lengthen it along here, because in the standard MX-5 this is all over the subframe and steering rack. But here, there's nothing but space, so you can nice and square and do that. And if I'm welding it all up, we can have a baffled pan, which will cost a fair bit of money, which will be another thing to come out in the maths. What will be very funny is by the end of this, in 2 months' time, 3 months' time, when this is racing, it will probably cost as much as the fucking rotary. Oop, swearing. But no, I'm quite pleased with that. So, because the video is going to get a bit too long, I've thought, we'll try one last thing quickly before we call it a day, because we've had a few successes, engines in, life is good. This is a U-joint, or the end of one at least, for my FD. Got this from the shop, or the workshop. It has the, falling over everything. It has the correct number of teeth or splines in there. A rough measurement with some calipers says it's the right size, so I have to see if this guy will fit in here, because currently it's about the right length for an MX-5, but we don't actually know at the moment, so only one way to find out. Because it will be a bit tedious, I'll get this in, or I won't, and we'll find out shortly. So sadly, no, we're going to have to make a custom prop. Splines don't match up. The external diameter is the same, internal diameter slightly different, but depending on how you measure it. But still, unfortunately, different. So we're going to chop up a 1.6 or 1.8 litre prop for the spline section, weld it to an rx7 prop, so it marries up to the diff, which we don't actually have the diff in this car at the moment. I am going to get I was debating seeing if I can get a 3.3 rear end in this, so some nice long gears, because the big old turbo might be a bit laggy, so you might as well have a decent bit of power. Anyway, far too many different things. But I think I'm going to call it here tonight. I haven't really brought down an awful lot. I was meant to bring down a fair few bits. But, yeah, I've got to go and get some videos out. And, yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed us working through this. We have a body loom in the car. We have an engine. Next episode, hopefully we can get the engine loom in the car. And hopefully these bloody engine mounts arrive. So then we can have the engine mounted in the car. The PPF which I have built for the car, which I left in the boot of my other car, because I'm an idiot, will be attached soon. And hopefully to a decent diff. But hopefully you guys all look forward to that. It is currently February, which means I have wasted a whole month on doing not an awful lot to the car. Small issue, which means we kind of have, 2 or 3 months to get this done for Time Attack. But the engine in the car, need to wire it up, then I need to forge it. Or alternatively, I just rip this car's heart out because I've got a spare one. Either or. But hopefully you've enjoyed this, hopefully you like it. I think people say like and subscribe or something like that, but do what you want. If you like it, say something. If you don't like it, you can also say something, but I probably won't reply to it. Have a good one. Take care, guys.